Hi friends, welcome back to Leelalicious. Today we're going to make coconut flour chocolate cake with a fudgy chocolate frosting using a surprise ingredient. There are lots of delicious coconut flour recipes on this channel already, the most popular being lemon cake and banana bread. Be sure to check them out too if you haven't yet. But today's recipe is a little more decadent. It's still gluten and dairy free, with options to make it low carb and even keto friendly. Here are all the ingredients we need for the cake part of the recipe. First, we're going to combine a half cup of hot coffee and a quarter cup of cocoa powder. Whisk them together until completely smooth. I love to use coffee in chocolate desserts because it highlights and brings out that chocolate flavor even more. This can be drip coffee, a couple of espresso shots, or even instant coffee dissolved in hot water. Decaf works just as well, but if you don't want to use coffee, hot water will be just fine too to dissolve the cocoa powder into a smooth and lump-free mixture. Then set this liquid aside to cool down. And in the meantime, we are going to prepare the baking pan. We need an 8-inch or 20 centimeter round cake pan. Grease the bottom and the sides with butter or spray oil, and then line it with a parchment paper circle. To cut an easy circle, fold a square piece over in half a couple of times and then fold it into a triangle. Align that triangle with the center of the pan, and then with scissors cut a small half-moon shape off the edge. Spread the circle out into the bottom of the pan and then flip it over again. This way it gets greased on the top side too. And now dust it with a little cocoa powder to cover the bottom and the side. Shake off any excess cocoa powder and set the pan aside. Now we get back to the cake batter. We need a large bowl, and into that crack 4 large eggs. I like to whisk these up first by themselves so they will more easily combine with the remaining wet ingredients. Then next up, add a half cup of melted coconut oil. You can also use avocado oil, melted butter, or light olive oil. For sweetener, I'm using half a cup of brown sugar. You can use any other kind of granulated sugar or sweetener, or a 1/3 cup of liquid sweetener like honey, maple syrup, or sugar-free syrup. And finally, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Whisk these wet ingredients together until smooth and combined, and then also add in the now cooled coffee and cocoa mixture. Mix it in well too. Now add a large strainer on top of the bowl to sift the dry ingredients into it. We need 2/3 of a cup of coconut flour, 2 teaspoons baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon salt. Sift these all on top of the wet mixture and discard any small bits or dry lumps remaining in the sifter. Now use a whisk or a spatula to mix in the dry ingredients to form a smooth batter. Optionally, you can add a half cup of dark chocolate chips or sugar-free chocolate chips. Toss them with a small amount, about a teaspoon of coconut flour, to coat the outsides. This coating will keep the chocolate chips from sinking to the bottom of the cake while it's baking. And then gently fold the coated chocolate chips into the batter with a spatula. Pour the cake batter into the prepared baking pan. Smooth out the top with a spatula or by tapping the cake pan onto your counter. Bake the cake for 25 to 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. To test if the cake is done, insert a toothpick into the center, and if it comes out clean, the cake is ready. If there's still wet batter attached, it will need a few more minutes. Allow the cake to cool in the pan for about 10 minutes and then loosen up the edges with an angled spatula or the back of a butter knife. And then invert the cake onto a wire rack. Peel off the parchment paper and let the cake cool completely before adding the frosting. But while it's cooling, we can already get started on preparing the fudgy chocolate frosting. And the secret ingredient that makes it so smooth and creamy is a super ripe avocado. This may seem like a strange ingredient, but I assure you, you won't taste any avocado flavor. Not that they have a lot to begin with. All you'll be able to taste is chocolatey, smooth, creamy goodness that is secretly a little bit healthy. Scoop out the flesh of one large ripe avocado. It should be about 150 grams into a food processor. I'm using this food prep bowl that comes with my immersion blender. Then to that, add a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Optionally, add 1 to 2 teaspoons of instant espresso powder if you would like to underline the coffee mocha flavor of this cake. And a 1/3 cup of maple syrup or honey, or a sugar-free alternative. Blend these ingredients together until completely smooth. There should be no more avocado lumps remaining. Just look at that creamy goodness. It looks just like chocolate pudding and is so delicious. And then give it a little taste. If needed, adjust the sweetness by adding a bit more syrup. Once the coconut flour chocolate cake has fully cooled, transfer it to a cake stand or serving plate. Now spread the chocolate fudge frosting over the top of the cake. I like to use an angled metal spatula to spread it out nice and smooth. And then with just the tip of the spatula, I make a small little swirl pattern along the outsides and then in the center another circle. And now you are ready to enjoy this delicious gluten-free chocolate cake. It makes a great celebration cake for birthdays or any other occasion, but you can also have it as an anytime dessert, even in the middle of the week. If you'd like to convert this into a layer cake, you can double the recipe and bake it in 2 pans. The cake is best stored covered to keep it from drying out. You can keep it at room temperature for a maximum a day and then in the fridge for 4 to 5 days. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this recipe and try it for yourself. If you do, please let me know in the comments. Also, please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. I will see you soon with another delicious recipe. Bye for now.